just when you thought we were out of it, it pulls us back in.
We did day 1 shows, day 2 shows, and I apologize for the hiccup there. I'm dealing with a little echo.
Yeah, we're going to do day 3 shows as well. We are here. We're going to do a brief show today. We got a big show for you tomorrow. Make sure to stay tuned for that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Orange and Blue today with the move that the Broncos made. We kick off the draft this morning. I'll tell a little story. 10 a.m. We're kicking off the draft. It's Kyle Reese. It's Mike Rice, 2 of our favorites. And they're just like talking about the weather. And the Broncos have already made the trade. We had to full stop, like, stop talking about the snow. Oh, my God, the Broncos made a trade, Mace.
Yeah, I got to Broncos headquarters this morning at right around 10 o'clock. I had barely opened my bag, put my computer down when they're on the clock, like, whoa. And the funny thing is, the name that went through my mind was Troy Franklin.
Yeah.
To get him, unfortunately, we never got to the combo show pre-draft.
I know, and we talked about Bucky Irving as a combo, but
yes,
this is your combo.
This is the combo. Troy Franklin, who worked out with Bo Nix at Oregon when the Broncos were there last month, and the Broncos sacrificed a decent amount in this trade, Cease. You put it through the draft charts. You go by the Rich Hill draft chart. It was basically the equivalent of a late 5th, early 6th rounder to move up 19 spots. The Jimmy Johnson draft model, roughly equivalent to an early 7th rounder. So it's something. It's not nothing, but it's something. But the Broncos dealing with the Seahawks again. We hope this trade turns out a little better than some of the other deals with Seattle.
Yeah. Do you want to play the video of Franklin with Nix and working out with Nix?
Yeah, let's start there. I mean, we'll get into a lot of the picks today and tomorrow, but this show is probably going to be more about Troy Franklin. So let's start with Troy Franklin on a conference call with Denver Air Media today, talking about his workout, or not his workout, Bo Nix's workout, and catching passes from him in front of Broncos' eyes.
Yeah, so that day, pretty much, I kind of, I just had to work out for him. Bo had, the meeting and everything like that. And I just kind of, went out there, caught for him. It was more just spot catching, but, I just wanted to make sure I kind of, like I obviously looked like, I was just catching the ball easily, fluidly, all that good stuff. They had me run like a couple of top of the routes. So I did that, just looked fluid, make sure I had good conversations with them, things like that. And just, I think I gave off a good first impression to them when they were out there, so I think most definitely that's how it went for sure.
I love it. They make that bold move, Mace. That's a Sean Payton move, and we'll get in it further probably tomorrow. But you see fingerprints of Sean and George. They're working together, everybody.
Yeah, well, we actually have some clips of them talking about that.
About what, trading up?
Yeah. You got those, right?
I got them loaded.
Okay. Let's start with the one where George Payton talks about Sean texting him at 6 a.m. And Sean's a night owl.
Yes.
And they were night owls yesterday. They were at the facility to past midnight. And so it's not even 6 hours, and Sean's already texting George. Let's play that.
That value, I think, when we left here last night was, we just thought, man, the big question is there going to be a partner the next morning at the other end that's willing to do a deal? So we were lucky enough to find one. And we left about midnight because we were here late, obviously, and Sean sleeps in a little bit typically. And I knew when I got a text at 6 a.m. saying we really want this player. Let's get this player. Yeah.
And I said, well, we got to figure this one out. But it was universal. It was a consensus.
We've got to figure this one. So Sean is saying, I want this player. And George is like, got to figure this out.
He did.
Okay. What does that tell you? Who's running the show?
Sean.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling George to get it done.
Yes. And
but
George
Sean's like,
it.
I want this player.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up at 6 a.m. I want this player. Des Bryant's telling me all about this player. He's texting back and forth with Des. All right. Sean's like, I want this guy. Get me this guy.
Right. Grocery shop.
And yeah. Although what it is Sean's making the list and George is his personal shopper.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is.
And you got to figure out a way to make it happen. Hey, they didn't have eggs. I want eggs. Give me some eggs.
Keep going to a store. Go to other stores until you find the dadgum egg.
Until you find the way it makes it work. Right? Look at the face when George is talking about Sean sleeping in, and Sean looks at the little side-eye thing like, don't say that. The odd couple. This is the greatest combination of all time. They're so fun to watch together.
I wouldn't say the greatest combination of all time, but...
Well, that's us, but still.
Oh, man. Don't sprain your shoulder patting yourself on the back there, buddy.
Dude, I am so wiped. You can't even believe you do 30 hours of on-air stuff in 3 days, and you get a little slappy.
Yes, you do. You didn't get any breaks today?
I got some breaks.
Yeah, because I didn't hear you when I was on the air.
Yeah, I know. I was there. I was on the whole time, but when you were on, it's...
You took a break.
Three-man shows are difficult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
maybe I should have said I had a little more time, but I really didn't.
No, it's busy.
There's a lot coming in on day 3. A lot you're going through. You're going through interviews, that sort of thing. I have 3 stories up. I have another I'm going to work on here. I've got stuff for tomorrow. Got clips you're cutting. So
right.
It is what it is.
And we got a big show for you tomorrow, a little shorter show today. We could honestly just do everything on Franklin today, but we'll get in whatever you want to get in. I did get a video in, though, Mace. I didn't tell you this. I wanted to surprise you. You like surprises, right? I hope so.
Good surprises.
I have a live video feed of the reaction when Bo Nix learned that Troy Franklin was going to be a Denver Bronco. Here it is.
Ha! I've had people sending that gift to me on social media today.
Yeah, yes, it's our thing now. It's our thing. There you go. Bo Nix, everybody. I think that's Bo Nix. I don't know. I'm tired.
Bo's hair is a little shorter.
Yeah, it's nice. Nice. No Patrick Bateman here. Anyway, so the move happens. They make the move. You got a playmaker. You got a weapon. What does it mean for Sutton? What does it mean for Mims? What does it mean for this offense? It's going to be more explosive. We know that Franklin takes the top off the defense. He does have good ball tracking ability. He lets too many into his body, and that leads to the 9 drops. And I tweeted that out there as here's my thing. He's a little small, so you can jam him, physical play, and he had 9 drops last year. And so then people are like, we don't need a Jerry Jeudy. He's not Jerry Jeudy, okay? He's insanely fast and a big play weapon.
And that's the thing. You're looking for explosive capability from this offense. It was not an explosive offense last year. The only explosion really on a consistent basis was Russell Wilson throw around and throw to Courtland Sutton. Pop it up. Explosiveness needs to look different. It needs to look like Marvin Mims and him getting the ball on stride, adding some branches to his route tree. It needs to look like getting the ball to Troy Franklin in stride. By the way, Courtland Sutton, still a Bronco. Are you surprised at that? That he today,
a little bit,
as the draft ends, 14 still on the roster.
Yeah, after the Franklin move, I was like, okay, that's interesting. What's it mean for Sutton? It's part of the conversation, and then it's like, okay, I guess he's still part of the conversation, but it just gives you more explosion. And the thing with Franklin, I said it on air today, he could be a 1,000-yard receiver this year, and Mims could not be, and Sutton probably won't be, but like, that's how good this guy is. He should have been a 2nd-round pick, maybe a 3rd-round pick if you're being generous. But when Franklin was still on the board on day 3, I was thinking, one, that's weird. This wasn't the Brendan Rice thing. Troy Franklin is legit. And, Brendan Rice, whatever. But, like, legit weapon here.
By the way, speaking of being a 2nd-rounder, I did a mock where I had him going off in the 2nd round as well. Sean Payton actually alluded to Franklin being available 2 rounds after expected. That's the other Sean Payton clip on Franklin, where he also gets into the vision for Franklin. I actually asked Sean Payton, what's the vision for all these players? And he just went through them one by one. We have the clips. We'll probably play most of them tomorrow as we get into the rest of the class. But let's hear Sean Payton on the vision for Troy Franklin and also getting him 2 rounds after expected.
Troy Franklin. So I think when we went home last night, George and I both, it clears out, and you're kind of looking at how the next day might unfold. I think the two of us looked at him like, man, it'd be, and we also knew that it was going to be impossible for us to wait. When the day ends, there's always these 6 players that I think around the league you feel like are going to go pretty quickly. We see him as an outside Z, really good speed. He's a guy that we were really impressed with at the line of scrimmage. We also, had combine, and then even at Bo's private workout, he was there. So probably a little bit more exposure, and there was a lot more coincidence to that than like that's just how this draft unfolds sometimes. So there was a really unique player with a high grade, call it kick it 2 rounds over, that's sitting there by himself. And so we see him as a Z.
That's important, Mace, because that means Sutton's still the X. And the backside X can be the first read, and the Z will be the big play on the right. And that also means Mims is still a slot.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Although
very important.
What was interesting, though, as you got later in the Broncos draft, Devon Vele. They see him as a big slot.
He's a Tim Patrick replacement eventually. He'll be a practice squad guy, So, yeah, big slot, big bodied, goes up and snatches it. It's what he does. Good speed, doesn't lose speed when he changes direction either. That's why he's a big slot. Because those big guys that lose sleep, slow sleepy. So the big guys that lose speed, they have to be outside. Because if you're slot and you're moving inside, when you make a cut and you have to slow down and throttle down, your defense is just going to be all over you. He doesn't. So that's why he can play inside.
Okay. So you think Courtland Sutton still has a role?
Yeah, backside X. It's a pretty big role. It's a big role. There's a lot
he's okay with that?
Plays. He should be. Your number 1 read. Your backside X. Like Z's a stud. Z can be the weapon.
But is he getting enough separation, though?
Does he need to if Z's the plan? Is Sutton mostly a decoy?
That only lasts but for so long.
It does. You're right. But you're going to declare him as your number 1. So teams are going to likely double him. And that means Franklin 1-on-1. And Franklin's speed after the catch is elite.
And that was something that jumped out when they were watching the film of Bo Nix. You see, who's the guy who's taking these plays to the next level? It's Franklin.
Right. No, I like it. It's a good move. Bold move.
The other thing that I like about this is you want to get an honest, accurate read of Bo Nix as you go on through OTAs, minicamp, and training camp.
Yep.
So if you get Franklin working with him, you're going to get a preview of what it's going to look like with all the receivers and Bo Nix having timing with all of them. Right now, he doesn't have that. A month from now, he won't have that with all the receivers, but he'll have it with Franklin. So you're going to get those glimpses where you can see over the horizon and get a preview of, this is how it's going to look. And then you can maybe start assessing when the right time is to move Bo Nix into the starting line, because you can get a feel for just where he's going to be based on what you see of him when he's hitting Franklin, because they already have that cohesion. That, I think, is a key thing. It's not just a long-term thing. It's a short-term thing for getting your eyes on him and getting a better look at him now.
Right. I like it. I like it for this team. It also, to me, says Bo Nix is your starter week 1. You're not making this move so Zach Wilson can throw to Troy Franklin. He's your starter, everybody. Let's just do it. Come on. Let's do it. Let's get it going.
We could have Zach Wilson, BYU guy, throwing to Tim Patrick, Utah guy.
I don't need to see Zach Wilson. I need Bo Nix getting all the first team reps. I don't need a competition. I don't need any of that.
Who should be more nervous, Zach Wilson or Jarrett Stidham?
Stidham.
Just because they can save $5 million by cutting him?
Yep.
And I'm not saying cut him tomorrow. I'm talking about as we get to roster deadline time, end of August.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. So the Troy Franklin move happens today.
Well, here's the thing. Remember, they only carried 3 quarterbacks last year into training camp. Jarrett Garantano shows up for Cam and then gets the tap on the shoulder. He's barely even checked in, and they're checking him out.
Right.
Part of that is you only have but so many reps. Do they do that this year? Do they tap one of the quarterbacks on the shoulder? Now, if you want to save $5 million of cap space, it'd be Stidham that you tap on the shoulder. If you just say, okay, we're keeping the best 3 guys, then it's going to be the Nooch that gets the tap on the shoulder. But they like the Nooch. They liked him enough to bring him back.
And you can have him as a camp arm in August and then cut him and no one will pick him up and you can bring him back on a practice squad. It's just science.
The Nooch?
The Nooch, yeah. Put him on a PS. Nobody will grab him. Nobody wants him.
But he's losing those reps. And do you really want a situation where Zach Wilson's your number 2? Do you want him to throw him out there? Maybe you need to do some football rehab on him. Maybe,
but it's all about Bo Nix. Like Zach Wilson, if he works, that's just gravy because he'll still be a backup,
Yeah. And that's what it should have been. Like, it worked out as it should have. But those 3 days when you're thinking, oh my goodness, what if they view Zach Wilson as a viable solution? And what if they don't come out of this with a quarterback? Because you saw the drop, how far it was from QB6 to QB7.
Mm-hmm. And Jordan Travis might be better than Spencer Rattler. We'll see. I don't want to bag on the kid anymore. Whatever. He wasn't the plan. All right.
I hate Jordan Travis going to the Jets, though.
Yeah, it's the Jets. They'll screw him up. I know we got comments on some of the UDFAs like Frank Crum, who I love. We will get to that tomorrow. I promise. Let me sleep. And we will get to that. Mace has still got some writing to do. So Mace, you get some sleep too, buddy. You're going to watch some baseball tomorrow. It's going to be good.
I'm going to relax. Hopefully it goes better for my Braves tomorrow than it did today.
Right.
Kind of a little bit of a squandered opportunity in the 10th inning and then some base running misadventures in the bottom of the 8th. Not that anyone cares.
It's a Brave show.
What red and blue today.
What else would you like to play today? Because we can play it today and we can repeat some tomorrow too if you want. I know we got a ton of clips. I think I have some stuff from Frank Crum from the Pro Day. Like I have some video of that. So like we got a million things to work on for tomorrow. But tonight it's about wrapping this thing up and then relaxing.
All right. I want to talk about 2 things, 2 players. First of all, Blake Watson, UDFA. I'm excited about that. The running. Look, we're going to do a running back show this week because the game really is afoot. Because with Audric Estime and Blake Watson, you have 2 running backs who could make the 53 as rookies.
Watson might be your best back. Sorry. I mean, that's how good he is.
He is more explosive than Audric Estime. Estime is a good red zone back. He's good at finding crevices in the red zone. Look, you were terrible in the red zone last year from the running back position. Believe it or not, I don't know if Broncos fans want to hear this. That's where you missed Melvin Gordon. You never replaced Melvin Gordon as a red zone back. That was the reason why you brought him in the first place, because Philip Lindsay struggled in the red zone. Melvin Gordon had a nose for the end zone that other running backs didn't around here. He gets cut. You had to do it because he was putting on the ball on the ground left and right. It was in his head. But they didn't replace him. They didn't get that skill set back. Audric Estime, I think, can bring that to you. But Blake Watson, he's the explosion. That's what I like about that. We're going to do more on him as well. We have to talk about how the Broncos with PFM now on the defensive line have JFM, John Franklin Myers, getting him for basically nothing. Getting a good pass rushing interior defensive end for a 6th round pick in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
The value of picks in trades, by the way, declines the farther out you are from the draft. So a 6th rounder in 2 years is valued not even like a 7th rounder this year.
No.
That was an interesting trade.
And
it was a salary dump for the Jets.
And a player that has improved during his pro career. I went back and looked at my scouting report, and I was like, okay, I had a 6th-round grade on him. I didn't like him because in college, and we're talking Stephen F. Austin, so he was a player that would get off the snap immediately and then stop. So if his first move worked, he was good. But if the first move didn't work, he was not good. But he's improved. And that's the one thing about all these players that they draft or that you like or that you don't like. We all need to recognize how players can improve, and JFM has done just that.
Yeah, I mean, with JFM, Rams cut him after a year. 4th-round pick, and they cut him at the roster deadline in 2019. By the way, after his last game that counted as a Ram was Super Bowl 53, and he had a strip sack fumble. The Pats recovered it. So there were flashes there, and the Rams let him go. Became really successful for the Jets. I was actually surprised that he was a salary dump here.
It's the Jets.
By the way, what is it about the Broncos making deals with the Jets and the Seahawks?
I know. And when they called the Seahawks with the Franklin move, where they're like, you owe us. You owe us. John Schneider, cut us a deal. Cut us a deal, baby.
The point value, Seattle won.
Unless Franklin's a 1,000-yard Pro Bowler.
True.
Then who won?
I get that. But in terms of point value, Seattle keeps winning these deals.
It's the greatest. There's John Schneider answering the phone from George Payton. Ooh, George.
Well, basically, for Seattle, when the Broncos call, you drop whatever you're doing. I mean,
I got one on the line.
It's not just the Russell Wilson trade. That's how they got their all-pro punter, Michael Dixon. They actually trade up.
Yep.
That worked out for the Seahawks. Yeah. The Broncos are on the line. Doesn't matter if you're on with another team, whatever. Like, I got to go. Denver's gone.
My buddy Mike texted me and said, you look tired and you look like the Mexican Tim Pool. I'll take that. Take that.
You know what I did? I actually stole like a quick 10-minute nap today.
Very good.
Went in like the TV closet back there by the media room and
Mike Kliss's unofficial office.
What?
Mike Kliss's unofficial office.
Yeah, I just went back there. No one was in there. Just laid my head down for a little bit. Otherwise, wouldn't have made it.
I bet Mike's taking a nap back there. I hope we don't. Oh, I won't. I'll tell you off air. Anyway, do you want to play the Payton on JFM?
Yeah, let's do that. George Payton talking about John Franklin Myers, who I think is going to be an immediate starter coming in on the defensive line.
Right. It's something we've been working on the last couple of weeks. He's a player we've always respected, durable. You know, he started 3 straight years, hasn't missed a game, 4 straight years of 54-plus pressures. He can play all down the line of scrimmage. The one thing that sticks out on tape is just the relentless motor this guy plays with. And so we're excited to get him. And it took a bit, but he was here today in the building, and he's going to help our D-line.
That's what's changed is his motor, because he didn't have that. And it's Stephen F. Austin, okay, so he's not going to get the pro coaching, no offense or whatever. But it's like when I look at Brandon Ayuk, Kyle Shanahan did not like Brandon Ayuk's work ethic. He was in the doghouse, and then Ayuk got it, and now they might pay him. And trade Debo, who I don't think has gotten traded either. I mean, it's been so busy. I don't know what's going on. But
you zero in on the Broncos. That's part of it.
Guys can change. Guys can get better. JFM did that.
He did. What was interesting also, speaking of conversations with the Jets about trade, George Payton said that the negotiations in the Zach Wilson deal took longer than the negotiations in the Russell Wilson deal.
That's funny.
It took longer. They were starting to talk about Zach Wilson at the league meetings back in Orlando.
Okay, nice. There's our friend Brian. Yes, that Brian. Brian, I'm wearing this Prime sweatshirt just for you. Nobody loves Deion Sanders more than Brian. Like, he loves the Deion Sanders. He loves the Colorado Avalanche. He's like the biggest Avs fan I know. He's always talking puck with me. So, and BK is very special. Yeah, man, we got a bunch to get to, and it feels so good, Mace. If you want to say the other stuff for tomorrow. If you want to, we can play it. I don't care.
You're
but
tired. You seem very exhausted.
I'm
I
out
think
of it.
I could keep going.
Yeah, you're energized. I know
I got some writing to do.
Yes, and writing is concentrating and it is draining as well. One of my buddies, poor little John, I always rat out little John, but poor little John, one time he's like, I wish I didn't have to work like you. And I was like, oh my God. When you're on air, you're performing. When you're performing, you're expanding a lot of energy. When you do the entire draft, because I want to, this is what I want to do. And I asked to do this and I was able to do it. Once again, I feel very proud about that, but yes, it is very tiring. But I wanted to wrap up and say, I feel so good about this draft because even though there are players I disagree with, and even though there are players that I would have preferred, you see these two working together in combination, and there is no Adam Gotsis pick, which I hated. And that year I wanted him to take Chris Jones in the first round before they moved up, obviously. And then there's no Montrell Washington in this draft. Again, greatest guy ever, whatever. Like, there's no obvious, like, what the hell is that? There's none of those. You see a combination of these two working together. I've let my opinion be known to little birdies that like to hear some of these things. I think the Broncos did a hell of a job. And yes, I will be grading them in Mile High Monday. So there you go.
They couldn't get everything they wanted.
It's true.
Didn't get a tight end. I know you were disappointed when Jared Wiley went off the board to Kansas
Got physically
City.
ill. This means a lot to me, man. This means a lot to me. And I appreciate when people recognize that. But when I got physically ill that the Chiefs got Jared Wiley, I was like, I got to calm down. Like, I was
light and sweet, baby,
pissed.
as you say.
That's why I have to tell myself that. I have to tell myself that or I get super pissed off. It's not good for my ticker, Mace.
Got to take care of that ticker, man. We need you.
I know. Let me finish. So, but if you'd like to play the rest of the clips, I will adhere to that schedule. And if not, I just want some final thoughts for you for day 3, man, because there's a really good day, really good draft.
I think we can come back to them tomorrow. I was impressed with the wherewithal to go get a player who has a good skill set, but fills a specific, unique role that will help the development of the quarterback. And make no mistake. Maybe it's time for me to go too. Someone says, it's Sean and Bo's team now. It is. And on the field, it's Bo's team. It's Bo time. It is.
Doug also says so many sweet moves today. David says we got Blake Watson, but your shirt's still on. That was for Jared Wiley. I mean, I could take my shirt off for Blake Watson because I love Blake Watson, but I don't know. I think Brian loves my Dion sweatshirt too much.
Yeah.
So
wasn't a great day for CU. It was the black and gold game, but the weather kept the attendance down.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not going to be a good year for them. So,
Wow.
Pat Shurmur, that's, we could totally do a CU show that would make a lot of people upset, but this is the truth. The truth ain't meant to make you feel good. It's just what it is.
Who's the coach to see you next year?
Oh, boy. It's anybody's guess. Anybody's guess. It's not Dion. So
there you go.
People are asking if they could trade Stidham. What about that, man? We haven't chopped that up. I think that's interesting.
I don't think he has a lot of value.
The film on him is not good.
For how many teams would Stidham represent a clear upgrade? And I'm not just talking about like against your backup, but yet teams bringing young quarterbacks. It wouldn't be Green Bay, right? They just drafted Michael Pratt. They want to see where he goes.
When Green Bay drafted him, I was like, oh my God, that's so perfect.
That's such a Packers pick.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of Joe Milton going to the Patriots?
It makes me hate the Patriots even more.
You know what that reminded me of a little bit?
We're
going to go in the Wayback Machine.
Okay.
Remember when the Patriots took Michael Bishop?
Yes.
A strong-armed quarterback from Kansas State back in 1999.
Hell of a run.
And he was still on the roster the following year when they drafted Tom Brady. I had to cover a Patriots preseason game that summer because I was working for NFL.com at the time. I was based out of Connecticut, drove up for the game, sat in the press box, watched that crowd clamor for Michael Bishop and give no love whatsoever to a rookie 6th-round pick named Tom Brady. The people's choice of New England in the summer of 2000 was Michael Bishop, not Tom Brady. How about that?
You're going to know this, so when I say it, you're going to roll your eyes, but do you know the 4 quarterbacks that they kept on the roster because they did not want to expose Tom Brady to other teams? Do you remember the 4?
Well, Bishop was one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Drew Bledsoe.
Yep. Tommy Brady, and there's a 4th one.
God, who was their backup then?
His first name's Damon.
Oh, Heward. Damon Heward.
Mm-hmm. They kept 4 quarterbacks active because they didn't want to expose Tom Brady to the practice squad.
But Brady was the 4th at the time. Was he not?
Yep.
Yeah.
And wasn't it preseason they played the 49ers and Brady killed him? Like, it was the Hall of Fame game, if I'm not mistaken, correctly? It was like one of the first preseason games, and Brady came in the 4th quarter or whatever, and he crushed it. And he looked
Can
good.
you give me a moment while I confirm that?
You can always have a moment, my friend. We're just kind of in brain dump mode a little bit. We got a big show tomorrow. It'll be a little more focused. Again, apologies. Okay. We've both been working. I mean, you see the shows. We post shows at midnight. They go till 1 a.m. So, like, we've both been working incredible. We need a little bit of a break. After this show, we'll get a little bit of a break, kind of. Mace, you still got writing to do.
Okay, Hall of Fame game. Patriots, 49ers, July 31, 2000.
And Brady hated him for passing on him because he's a 49ers fan. He was there
that wasn't
during
it.
The drive.
Tom Brady went 3 of 4 for 28 yards.
Oh, okay.
Michael Bishop, 9 of 13 for 101, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Also ran for a touchdown, a 22-yard touchdown run, 50 yards on 4 carries. See, this is why they were so excited in New England about Michael Bishop. I'll actually find the game that I went to here. Yep. Buccaneers at Patriots. It was on a Sunday afternoon. Strangely enough, the Bucs went to New England twice in a 14-day span for a preseason game and a regular season opener. Okay. Here we go. Tom Brady didn't even get on the field. Michael Bishop did come in. 7 of 17 for $157, touchdown and a pick, and he ran for 3 yards on 2 carries. The touchdown pass was 32 yards. But he kind of lit it up. They loved him. New England fans were excited about Michael Bishop. But as I recall, he had trouble learning the scheme. Pardon me.
Mm-hmm. I could see in the modern game he'd be a little bit different. Let's talk about the Notre Dame running back real quick, because on the air I was like, he's basically what Javonte is now.
Yeah, a big back, bruiser.
After contact, balanced.
One of the leaders in college football last year in yards after contact per carry.
It was over 4 yards.
One of the leaders in college football last year in missed tackles forced per attempt.
Just like Javonte.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did not have a good combine. 4.7, 140. And that's why he was at the end of that running back run. Honestly, I was so focused on writing stories, and I saw Estime come across, and I'm like, oh, could they have done better at running back? But then you see the running backs who went before in the 4th round. Like, no, probably he and Blake Watson were the best ones that were left at that point, in my opinion. Not necessarily the league's opinion.
Braylon was already gone by that time.
What?
Right? Braylon was gone at that time, right?
Braylon out went to the Jets.
He was gone at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett's probably going to tell him something like, hey, when I was in Green Bay, I watched you play.
When Estime was drafted, I was like, you could have just drafted Blake Watson. But that's a moot point now because they have Blake Watson. So
it worked out fine. But I admit the name Blake Watson went to my mind when I drafted Estime.
Well, and I'll tell you this, Estime is all power. So they're going to beat the crap out of you with Javonte and Estime. Like, it's sorry, Samaje. Jalil will be a joker, receiver back. But you got a Mark Ingram. Not as fast, but a Mark Ingram type of player.
The question is, do you keep 4 backs?
You have to keep Blake. You have
I think so, too.
You're going to see him. You guys are going to see him at training camp, and you're going to love him. He does everything. He does it all well. And we got
I'd
clips
be
in the
shocked
game
if he
we
doesn't
talked-
pop starting next month.
Yes, exactly. He'll be one of the stars of rookie minicamp. I know it's just minicamp or whatever. He's going to put on a show.
Here's the thing. Because he's quicker and more electric, Blake Watson's going to pop
Yes.
in May and June.
Yep.
And people are going to be wondering about Estime. Then when you see them go full contact in the games, you'll start embracing Estime. I think he's going to look better then. So sort of a thing you can see coming on the horizon here is all of us being like, Blake Watson, hey, look at him in practice. Of course, you will have known about him because you watched the show.
We got to get those clips from the Shrine game, too. We have so much.
I got to find
on
that.
the cutting room floor. Like, we have so much. But we talked to him. We talked to him quite a long time.
Yeah.
And again, the thread, John Davis, shout out John Davis. He said, what's the common thread? And I said, all these guys are smart. All of these players they drafted are smart.
Smart football character. Character was a driver in this draft, I think.
Yep. And you got some ballers.
Football character off the field. It was interesting. Devon Vele, when I asked him kind of what he did well, he said or the advantage of being 26. I mean, I think he might be the oldest guy the Broncos have ever drafted. Garett Bolles was only 24, about to turn 25.
Yeah.
And he said
a 3-year mission in Samoa.
Yes. And then 5 years at Utah because he had the COVID year as well. And he said, I'm not going to be getting in trouble. Not going to be out partying. Okay.
There you go. I mean, that's still a thing, man. It's still.
I asked him specifically. We'll play this clip tomorrow. I asked him specifically how his age was an advantage because we hear all along, oh, he's overage, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. How is it an edge? How is it an edge to Bo Nix that he's coming in at age 24?
Mm-hmm.
There is an advantage to that, potentially.
I will go Jimi Hendrix on you.
Okay.
Are you experienced? Because I am.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Experience, man. The ultimate teacher is failure. These guys have tried and failed, and they've learned from that. They've grown from that. Just like we were talking about JFM. You've improved from that.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Lessons from the losing.
I don't like he's so old. I'm like, oh my God. He doesn't have a lot of miles on him. I don't care if it's been 8 years since you've been out of high school. Like, he doesn't have miles on him.
It is wild, though, 8 years.
It is. It's different for sure. But sometimes your path is different. Stiggers, who picked him up? He was like a 4th rounder or 5th rounder or something like that. The CFL kid that never played in college because he immediately just went to the CFL. We saw him at the Shrine game, and the Jets picked him up. That's a good pick. I don't like the Jets, but that's a good pick.
Yeah, do we like the Jets draft a little bit? I do.
Yeah, a little bit. Like what the Ravens did. I
Washington.
hate to say it. Washington. Oh my God, Adam Peters.
That's like your guy's draft right there.
He was plucking from the heart of the Broncos. Just like, I'm going to take the guys you want. Right, I'm plucking them. I love Adam Peters, but he's a good man. We've been doing this so long, Mace. I remember when Ian Cunningham, speaking of CU, Ian Cunningham was a road scout for the Ravens. Now he's the assistant GM in Chicago.
Gosh.
Like, I knew him on the old ESPN Denver days, and I would talk to Ian. And I'm so proud of these guys because hard work pays off. Not all the time because you see so much nepotism in the NFL, usually in the coaching circles, the good old boy network, which is awful, by the way. Scouting, there is some nepotism. But when you have good men like Ian Cunningham, good men like Terry Fontenot, Terry's one of my favorite guys out there. When you have good men, Adam Peters, that do good work and grow in their career, Zach Robinson's going to be a head coach someday. And I love him. I absolutely love him. And I applaud that when that happens in this business where too often somebody's cousin is going to get a job or somebody's going to hang around because they coach with whoever, your old Pat Shurmurs, those type of people. I don't like that. I like when good people like Ian Cunningham, Terry Fontenot, Adam Peters get this work.
It's been a rough 48 hours for Terry Fontenot, though.
I think it can work for him. I understand what Mike McCartney was doing. He was protecting his client, but at the same time, dude, you're 36. You're coming off an Achilles. They're going to have a plan. It's unwise for the franchise if they don't have a plan. So it's a hot take stuff. Remember when Kirk Cousins was drafted? Kirk was on the other side of this. He was the other woman, quote unquote. Kirk was on the other side. ESPN blew up when Mike Shanahan, I think that was the right decision, drafted RG3 because he had to, and then drafted
got Kirk
because
Cousins
he wanted to. Kirk was on the opposite side of this. Mike McCartney, his agent, is going to protect his client. I understand that, and I like Mike. He doesn't like me. That's fine. But, like, Kirk, dude, come on. Come on.
And also, I think for both of us, one of our favorite organizations in terms of their process is the Green Bay Packers.
Very much so.
Why are they one of our favorite organizations? Because they plan and they probably overcommit the quarterback, but they're always looking. They're always looking at the most important position.
Michael Pratt.
Yes.
I mean, come on. You know he's going to work. You know they're going to trade him just like they traded Matt Hasselbeck and Mark Brunell and Aaron Brooks and all the guys. Everybody. That's what
They're drafting Jordan Love before they need to. They're drafting Aaron Rodgers before they need to.
And they drafted Brian Braum after they drafted Aaron Rodgers. Brian Braum in the second, bro. And I've got
that didn't work out. Yes, but
they kept swinging.
Keep doing it. It's too important. I think Ron Wolf would say it's too important not to overcommit resources to it.
Well, and here's where I go back to my Patriots hatred. Elliot Wolf, who I admire, it was his son, correct? He got two quarterbacks. So Elliot Wolf is carrying on the Wolf tradition of getting your quarter. So actually, even though I don't like New England, where's our GIF? We're GIF lords now.
But he's not really a Patriots guy, okay? He didn't go to the Patriots until 2020 as a consultant.
You need a Wolf, though. You need a Wolf guy. Like, forget the Patriots.
He's 14 years with the Packers. And then a couple of years in Cleveland, and then stuff happens in Cleveland, right?
Well, and I feel bad for Gutekunst because I wanted Wolf to get that job, and Brian has improved. And I love Ted Thompson. God rest his soul. I used to go get coffee at the Tradewinds Resort before it was open because I was allowed to go to weigh-ins. I wasn't supposed to be allowed, but I was allowed to go to weigh-ins, and I would sit with Ozzie Newsome and Ted Thompson and just listen. I got a big mouth. I say a lot, but when I'm around Ozzie flipping Newsome, I shut the hell up. Yeah. And I just listen, absorb. Ted Thompson is incredible as an evaluator. And Gutekunst took over, and he's become like Ted. I so appreciate it. It's
learn
so
from his mistakes, too.
Yes, he does.
That's the other thing. The Packers, the consistent thing philosophically is over commit resources to QB, always be planning at QB. And when you know you have a guy you like that you've developed, get that contract done as soon as you can. Like, why aren't you getting them Pat Surtain done now? Okay. He's still here. You didn't have to trade him to get a quarterback. You didn't want to trade him. You didn't trade him. Get the John Hancock, or as Tommy Callahan would say, Herbie Hancock. Get the Herbie Hancock on the paper before the price goes up further. Quinn Miners. Guards were expensive this year. They're not getting cheaper next year. Get the signature on the deal now. You know he's your guy. Just do it.
Yeah.
That's what I believe in, that Packer philosophy on that. You benefit from that much more than you're hurt by it. Not that you're always benefiting. Sometimes you get caught, okay? Sometimes you have an injury or whatever. It happens. It's part of the deal.
Sure.
But it's a net positive over the time for the Packers. I think it's going to be a net positive for the Broncos. So that's why I say, Surtain, Miners, that's a priority. Get it done as soon as you can. Now's the time to focus on that.
Well, and I'll say something somewhat controversial. I don't think it is, though. I think Tim Patrick deserved his money. It sucks he hasn't played in 2 years. You mentioned injuries. My mind goes to Timmy Pats. Like, Timmy Pats deserved that money. We haven't seen him since.
Yeah. You rolled the dice and he got hurt. Courtland Sutton's contract, by the way, is not bad.
No.
I mean, he's 22nd right now in average annual value. Okay, fine. It's about where he is as a receiver. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. No problem there.
I know people were saying about the national media, and I don't pay attention. And Doug, who's our guy, and I appreciate Doug. He's like, Nick Wright was saying the Knicks. I don't care what Nick Wright was saying. I know what my eyes say about Bo Nix. Listen to Nick Saban. I don't know if we could ever play that clip, Mace. I sent it to you. It was on a Facebook video or something. Listen to Bill Belichick talk about Bo Nix. Listen to Nick Saban talk about Bo Nix. And yes, guys can be wrong or whatever. I don't care what some blowhard Chiefs fan says, okay? And I know you're not supposed to make fun of other people in the media. I don't care. I absolutely don't care. He's not an
Nick
evaluator.
Wright kind of brings it upon himself.
Exactly. And the fact that we're talking about him, like, that just gives him more.
You're letting him win. Why are we even bringing his name up?
Because fans say to me on Twitter, well, the national media, I don't care. What does Sean Payton say? What does Sean Payton say? What do these other luminaries say? Bo Nix is damn good. Sean Payton will get the most out of him. Maybe the ceiling is Jared Goff or Derek Carr. But with Sean Payton running the show, I'm going to take that.
Got his guy.
He got his guy.
By the way, speaking of national media, the words Lakers in 7 are trending on Twitter.
Did they win?
Yeah.
There goes my gap. I was looking forward to Monday night. No, I won't.
I'm sorry, man.
Life's about timing, right? You got to find the right timing. So
sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Sometimes you have to wait, but if it's worth the wait, and I think it is, you wait.
Nobody knows what we're talking about, by the way. Like we're laughing at this, and people are like, huh? This is something that has to stay between us.
Yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine.
Okay. Yeah.
We're getting tired. That's fine.
Yeah, by the way, for someone who's tired, I'm looking and seeing 47 minutes.
Yeah,
All
you know, we
it's
did
been
it.
A pleasure.
We did it. And that's the thing, like, doing a show with you energizes me, even if I'm exhausted. Like, that's an energy thing. We're getting a lot of love, and we just appreciate everyone. Listen, we want the Broncos to be, an excellent hallmark team as they were for years and years and years. And we are here for you. We're going to give you the information. We're going to tell you about Blake Watson before anybody else. We're going to tell you the truth about Bo Nix. And maybe you agree with us, maybe you disagree with us. That's fine, because that's your opinion and that's your right. But we are going to do the work for you, and we're going to present it to you. And as long as someone is, I guess, rational with me, I'll take any sort of debate on Bo Nix or whatever. But it's like, we're going to approach it a certain way. And maybe that way is not for everybody, right? The dude last night's like, this is weird. Yeah, we're weird. But I think part of the combination of us, Mace, if I may, is that we allow ourselves to be each other.
Yeah.
You're you on this show. You are Andrew Mason. This is the Mace that I love hanging out with, right? Going to airport, chopping it up, going to lunch, whatever.
Yeah.
I get to be me, and you allow me to be me. And as a host, as a duo, and as someone who's done this for 20 years, you longer, that's rare to find, because most of the time there's roles, like I'm the driver and you're the analyst. No, we're both. I'm the draft expert. No, we're both that. Okay. We're both the analysts. We both think about ball. We both spend a lot of time analyzing what we see, and then we tell you what we see. And that's why it works, because we both get to be ourselves.
Yeah. It's really awesome. We're getting sentimental here. Someone media critic says, see you all sizzle, no steak. We're going to find out this fall, aren't we?
Well, he's right, but still.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. And we got more shout outs, by the way, in the comments from last night. We got some more, like, Sweden and stuff like that. So that's cool. But
nice. Scandinavia. Sweden. I may listen to some ABBA.
Oh, there you go.
Cecil is bleary eyed. Yes.
It's fine. Cecil looks stoned. No, that's not happened. So, yeah. There we go.
You know what the Broncos' goal this year should be in points? 420.
5280 and 420. Make it happen.
420 points over 17 games. That's a little under 25 points a game.
They could do that.
If they do that, they're going to win.
Yep, they're going to win more than y'all think. And yes, we're going to talk about Frank Crum tomorrow. I'm going to dig up and see if I can find that video. We might actually have a clip of it, but we'll see. Got plenty of stuff to talk about with the undrafted free agents. When they're official, I will write them up for denversports.com. I do it every year, so get used to that. Get ready for that show. And we're doing a running back show. We're doing plenty of Bo Nix. We're reaching out to people. So yeah.
We should probably do like a position reset, like on every position here after the draft.
State of the roster, right?
Yeah.
State of the roster, tight ends. That's a fascinating show.
Oh boy,
Yeah,
it's not good right now.
not good at all. Not good whatsoever.
Alrighty, it's been fun. Let's do this again tomorrow.
Okay, how do they help us out on YouTube?
Like,
Comment,
share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell.
so that you
Never miss
a
a vid.
That's right. He's Andrew Mason. You follow him on all the socials at Mace Denver. I'm at Cecil Lammey saying OBT is a BFD. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. And as always, please stay frosty.